All right, this is going to be test number 3, I believe, for the Stormtrooper, the X-68 Stormtrooper build with the CO2 heater. Ambient temperature down here in the basement is 60 degrees. The CO2 heater has cycled about 3-4 times now. And I should be up to a decent temperature in here. Looks like about 97 external on the Umerix 2 times 12 gram cylinder. We have, let's see. All right. So we have here, I relocated the 12-volt battery to the other side of the stock. Get it out of the way there. The best I can do for now anyways. We have it's so bright I can't see the darn thing. .97 Fahrenheit there. Heating at about 129 degrees. The thermal switch is closed. We have the call for heat light on, which will probably stay on now since we're down here where it's colder. And we have the green 12-volt power light on. Right. I think resolved the issue, hopefully, with the Crossman 12 gram cartridges. I was having a consistent problem with those cartridges from Crossman where they only one of the two in the Umerix cylinder would actually puncture. So I put a little washer in there, a little shim to kind of help with that. I was able to get them to puncture earlier today, and I will we'll test that as well here today. Also, we're going to run a Crossman 12 gram in the handle as well, which will puncture last. So let's see if I can get this to puncture. All right, I think that felt like a good puncture. Looking at the pressure, I would say so. We have about 8. Just about 800 psi right now. Now I will puncture the handle, 12 gram. All right, I think it punctured. So sitting at 800 psi. All right, puncturing under pressure, not an easy thing to do, that's for sure. All right, well, still heating. Let me adjust this a little bit. So I got about 800 psi more than I had in previous tests. Excuse me, I'm sorry, 100 psi increase. So this gauge is still my baseline, and this valve is still suspect. I haven't got the new valve in yet, the new on-off valve. All right, well, not seeing an increase either way. no matter what way I put this. So I guess we'll just put it in the middle and hope for the best. Yeah, it's just about 800. Maybe a little bit, scotch more. All right, so just like the other tests, we're going to be using the 9.9 gram riot balls with the goal of getting off 3 magazines. I will train myself not to say clips. I don't know why I say clips, but 3 magazines are mags. A total of 18 shots is what I'm hoping for here. All right. We are live. We are hot. Let me get the X radar going. And let's see what we get in these tests. All right, first shot, 464 feet per second. Shot number 2. Oop, my mag actually dropped. So that was a dry fire. All right. That's the first. We're going to put it back in there. I don't know if the first shot was so powerful that it just did something with the mag, but all right, we'll try second shot again. That was weird. I hope that doesn't continue to be a problem. All right, shot number 2. Hopefully the magazine stays in. 448. Number 3. Magazine dropped again. Wow, okay. That's twice now the mag dropped. I'm getting one shot and the mag's dropping. It's going to be kind of hard to hold the magazine in there and hold the X radar to get the feet per second, but may have to reset this one at a time and then figure out how I'm going to fix that. Pressure dropped to about 6, 7. It's just a little under 800 psi. Okay, my finger slipped off that, so I missed that reading. The mag did not drop that time. So let's try it again. I think this is my 5th shot. 422. The magazine's still holding in there. 410. And I think that's all of them. But it's hard to keep track because with this magazine falling out twice now, which was weird. I know somebody else had that issue before too. I don't know if it was Brandon. All right, I think somebody had the issue before where the mag was dropping. All right, yeah, there goes another round. All right, so I only fired 5 rounds. All right, this test is going haywire really quick. All right. That's, we'll worry about that after anyways. All right, here's another magazine of 6 9.9 riot balls. And let's see what we get now. All right, my test is all screwed up. Bear with me, folks. Shot number 1, magazine number 2. 412 feet per second. Shot number 1. I gotta fix my trap. Whoa. Yeah, that's all messed up. All right, shot number 1. Sitting at, we're still heating, keeping it warm here. All right, we're at 700 psi now. Let me see what I got for a temperature. The outside of the Umrix cylinder is about, looks like, what, 95. Still heating. I may end up playing around with these heating elements too and getting something something a little stronger, something that'll higher wattage. These are only 7 watts each. Also, this 12-volt battery, I have not seen it go over 10 volts. So I got to see if I can get something better. I may end up going with 14 or 18 volt. But this is just the beginning of my testing with this. All right, so it's still keeping this warm. You know, even with the CO2 firing, everything's warm. So the refrigeration effects of the CO2 is not that big of an issue here. Everything's warm to the touch. This is hot. This is hot. And then when I'm all done, I'll pull the CO2s and I'll take a temp read on them if I can get a good temp reading on them as well. All right, so we're sitting at 700. Again, you know, I don't know how much this on-off valve's playing into things. I know this thing's very wonky. All right, I'm not even sure how many shots I have left now, so then I talked myself into a loop here. But that was weird with that magazine. It's got to be something to do with the extra pressure, I would think. All right, let's get another shot. 418 feet per second. 398. 386. 386, I meant. 378. The magazine's still in there. And I don't want to waste any more gas. I'm not sure what I have left here. So let me drop this since I lost count and see. Yep, I'm glad I didn't pull the trigger because I would have been wasting. All right, we're going to need to load up some more. Still over 600 PSI. Looks to be about 650. Yeah, it looks to be about 650. All right. Thing's still very much warm to the touch. And about 95. The heater grid's at about 120. Got about 90 coming into the on-off valve. At the on-off valve, about 85. And further down at the car stock, where it comes right into the back of the Pistelli, it looks like about 69 degrees, so it's cooler down there. All right, so I would say that this heater, although I need to crank it up a bit, I may need to switch to a higher voltage or just a higher wattage at 12 volts, but I'm not even getting 12 volts. Even fully charged, that battery's only putting out 10 volts. So I definitely need to look and see what my options are. Maybe get another, you know, maybe it's just that particular lithium ion battery. Maybe I can find another 12 volt, but I'm thinking increase the voltage is probably what I need to do so I can obtain, and maybe even these heating elements go with a higher wattage one. These are 7 watts each, and I got 2 of them. They do have some higher wattage ones, and you know, I'm probably going to be looking at that next. But for the first run of tests, I ain't going to complain. You guys all saw that first shot. That first shot is a record for me. With all 3, that's got to be all 3 cartridges this time, because that first shot, what was it, like 464 or something like that? I mean, that's substantial. In my mind, that is very much substantial. Let me pick up my balls, my right balls. All right. Yeah. You got right balls all over the place. You know, Sean was talking about dropping balls. I think we definitely dropped a few here. Dropping mags, too. Bloody magazine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. And 6 there, and I'm still missing 4 more, probably in the trap. Most of them bounced out. All right, so we're doing good with pressure. I mean, it's creeping back 6, 7. It's about still holding about 650 psi. The magazine's no longer dropping out. After a certain amount of power, I don't know what the deal is with that. If anybody's got explanations or if there's a way around it. I don't know if I gotta duct tape the stinking magazine in. Some workarounds maybe, if anybody knows of any workarounds. But twice I had that magazine drop after one of the 2 highest power shots. The 464, the first hot shot, and the other one was like 446 or something like that. I'll have to replay it back. And I'll replay it back and when I get in the office. All right, let's see how many more rounds we can get out of this thing, because my count's all messed up. Dropping the magazine kind of messed me all up. So let's see what we got here. 378. All right, that was a weird double shot or something. 358. Again, my goal all along has also been to get 3 magazines, 18 shots, before having the reload magazines. That was one of my major things that I wanted to achieve. And I've achieved it on and off through both designs. And now, now I'm trying to get to that goal with this particular X-68 Stormtrooper build as well. All right, so I think I'm at 2, 3. I think I'm on 4th shot here. 334 feet per second. 318 feet per second. 300. 278. I think that's it with those. I'm down at about 400 psi. Yeah, that was all those 400 psi. Let me see if I can stick 1 or 2 more rounds in here. I don't think I'm gonna get more than 2. Freaking dog hair everywhere. But let me put 3 in. Put a 3rd in. We'll put a 3rd in. See. Yeah, man, that magazine thing. That's a little weird. All right. Sitting at about 400 psi. We'll see if we can get 3 more. Make up for the ones I didn't shoot, maybe. Again, I want to get the 3. Total 18 shots. 268. So we're dropping off. I don't know if we're going to get more than one. One more, I mean. 242. 210. And that was the 3. I probably got 1 more shot left in here. There's a full mag. I know we ain't gonna do another full mag, but let me see if I can get 1 more. 186. Yeah. Wow, that's not my hot shot. 186. That's gonna be it. Yeah, trigger's dead. Trigger's dead. Balls everywhere. All right. That is going to complete this test. However, I do want to pull these CO2s, inspect them while I have the camera going, and inspect them for good punctures. Now that we got that little workaround for the Crossman 12 grams workaround. Thank you, Sean, for that workaround. Thank you for that video talking about that. I know it probably came from somebody else, I think, but um, appreciate you putting that on video, and that's helped a lot. I was kind of thinking it was something with those Crossmen, but that definitely kind of confirmed it for me there. All right, I am gonna shut the heater off. So I'm gonna turn this heater off. And again, work in progress, guys. It's gonna be a work in progress for a while. I mean, I'm using cheap parts. I got another metal aluminum control box that'll come in. I'm gonna rebuild this, use some smaller LEDs, try to get the footprint a little smaller for the control box at least. I'm thinking higher voltage, maybe 14, 18 volts. I don't know, maybe even 24 volts. Whatever's gonna allow me to get a quicker saturation of heat. Again, using this Umarex 2x12 gram, being that it's aluminum, just can't say it enough. The whole, just to saturate that aluminum, acting like a heat sink, so that it draws in the heat and then surrounds the CO2 cartridges and warms them. I will say this: after all those shots, this hasn't cooled off. It's still warm to the touch. Sure, it's not 100 degrees now on the outside. Well, maybe it is. I mean, and again, I've seen almost 110 degrees inside the thing with the cap off, with the meat thermometer. I mean, it could be, it's probably 100 degrees maybe in there. Maybe less, I don't know. I mean, I understand the refrigeration aspects of the CO2, but it's not overpowering the heater, I don't believe. Yeah, 99, but I mean, it doesn't start to get cool until you get right here. Right here, I'm capturing about 69, 70 degrees, right here where it goes in. Everything else, even this line's warm. And again, I think there's something going on with this on and off valve as well. So I'm fully expecting once I get a new valve, or if I can delete it, but I need this line. I need this piece to get the line into the car stock where I have a half expansion chamber here. So, but anyways, I'm rambling on, making this video longer than it needs to. And by the way, feel free to fast forward if I'm rambling too much. We're going to turn that off. We're going to degas. We're going to degas until that drops. Okay, I had bolt release, fully back, and now it dropped. Okay. And what we're going to do is real quick, I'm going to drop this one. I'm sure this one's punctured. We got a puncture on here. That's the one. That's the one, the Crossman that was in the handle. I haven't had a problem with a puncture in there anyways. We're going to loosen this up, and we're going to drop these out and see if they both punctured. I believe they did, given I had a good amount of pressure. So I believe they did. So let me get this stuff out of the way. Grab them in order. So last in, first out. Last in, first out. Crossman, that one's punctured. There's the little plastic washer I use. That's all I had. So, but it seemed to work. First in, last out. Punctured. These are warm. There's no frost on these at all. And they're warm. I'm going to take a reading right now. I probably should have been ready to do that a little sooner. Let's see. Well, both of those CO2s that came out of the external Umarex. I don't know if I'm getting a good reading on these things, how reflective they are. but they feel warm to the touch, and you can see there's no frost on these. Although they're only reading 68 on here, but I don't know if I'm getting an accurate reading, because I can tell you with my hands, these are warm. Of course, they're cooling off rapidly too. It's 60 degrees down here. All right. Anyways, excellent, excellent, excellent. I couldn't be more thrilled. Not only did I get all three of these to puncture, and using this plastic washer as a shim between the two cartridges and the X cylinder, was able to get a good puncture. I was able to puncture that first, then the handle. The handle was tough puncturing under pressure. Ideally, I would have liked to have more on and off valves if they wouldn't cause restriction in the system, so that I could isolate, you know, the external from the handle side. Make things easier to puncture that way too. But I ended up removing that gog on and off because, you know, somebody had said that, you know, could be causing restriction unless you drill it out. Didn't feel comfortable drilling it out because I didn't want to, you know, screw it up and render it busted and not be able to use it. So I just decided to just delete it. And with it not in place, the stock's closer to the gun, it looks a little nice, a little better cosmetically. I got more cosmetic things coming for this. I got a compensator coming from East Coast Less Lethal. I'm waiting for that in. It should be in maybe today or tomorrow. That's going to kind of finish the look a little bit, and it'll allow that foregrip that I love so much, the comfortable foregrip, to actually be mounted fully and not just, you know, half of it be mounted there the way it is. So looking forward to that. And yeah, like I said, there's more work to be done here, but highest power numbers now, I mean, I'm thinking what, 100 joules? I'll run the math upstairs and we'll get back to you on that, but I'm thinking that first shot was probably 100 joules. Using the 9.9 riot balls. All right, we'll catch you later in the office and we'll go over the numbers. Okay, we're back in the office, and good results for the X-68 Stormtrooper prototype, test number 3. All 3 crossments, they all punctured, including the 2 in the X 2x 12 gram cylinder. They all punctured nice. So that little space of the washer that I put in there wasn't perfect, but it was able to make the difference for me. So I'm happy with that. Also saw the highest numbers that I've seen so far for this X-68 Stormtrooper. We ended up having, again, these are using the 9.9 gram riot balls. The heaviest is pretty much the heaviest ammo I have. The first shot, my hot shot, was 464 feet per second, totaling 99 joules. I was saying downstairs, you know, probably 100 joules. Well, I was 1 joule away. So 99 joules. I'm psyched over that. That's a hell of a power shot. 12-inch barrel, and with the 9.9 gram riot balls. The second shot, well, actually, after that shot, I didn't realize it until I dry fired my second shot because the mag dropped. It didn't drop completely out of the gun. It did drop just enough to not allow to feed another riot ball in there. So I ended up resulting in a dry fire, which was a waste of CO2, which, being my second shot, was probably obviously my second most powerful shot that I wasted. Third shot, after pushing the the magazine back, I got 448 feet per second, which is still fantastic, 92.29 joules. And then it did it again, another mag drop on another wasted dry fire. And then, to make matters worse, because I was fumbling around, lost track of count, you name it, my finger fell, slipped off the button, and I missed a reading. So I got one reading I missed there, my own fault. The next shot, technically the third actual round that went flying out of that gun today, was 422 feet per second. yielding 81.89 joules. And then the next shot was 410 at 77.30. Total of 5 rounds were shot in that first load. Excellent numbers there. Mag number 2 was 412 feet per second, 78.06 joules. 418, 80.35 joules. 398, 72.84 joules. 386, 68.51 joules. 378 for 65.70 joules. That was another 5 rounds. Again, I think I miscounted on that. And because again, I was all discombobulated because of dropping the mag and everything else. So I loaded another mag, a third magazine. I got 378 for 65.70 joules. I got 358 for 58.93 joules. And then I got 334 for 51.30 joules. 318, 300, and 278 feet per second. Closing in 6 shots and totaling 46 and a half joules, 41 and 35 and a half joules. I still had some gas left, so I loaded a few more in, got 268 for 33 joules, 242 for 26.93 joules, 210, 186. It just petered out at that point, and that was it. Closing everything down at about 15, 16 joules. All right, test number 3. Very psyched. Awesome power number. It's the highest power I've had so far. Again, the ambient temperature down there was 60 degrees. All 3 12-gram Crossman carts punctured. So that was huge. My starting pressure was between 800 and 850 PSI on that cheap little gauge there. Again, I suspect problems with the on and off valve. I got a new one on order. It's supposed to be in tomorrow. It's still just a cheap one, to be honest with you. I don't, I got to find a better quality one, or if I can just, do something different there. I don't know. Anyways, moving along with these tests. Hopefully they are educational, and if not, hopefully they are entertainment. So hopefully there's some value there with that. Yeah. I had mentioned downstairs that I'm probably, 12-volt batteries only putting out 10 volts. These are 7-watt. I got 2 7-watt heater grids. Probably going to be moving to a higher voltage battery, higher voltage, higher wattage heater grids for this, maybe 14, 18, maybe even 24. It's going to be a process. So I appreciate everybody's feedback. If anybody has feedback on a workaround for the magazine dropping out like that, explanation maybe. I think it's just because those were 2 high-powered shots and somehow the air must be doing it. But I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm new at this stuff, so if anybody's got thoughts on it, I don't know if I gotta literally duct tape the freaking magazine. I don't want to do that really, but now that I'm aware it can happen, I guess I just got to check for that and just make sure it's in there. Maybe that is the workaround without making something look all freaking gaudy. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. Again, appreciate your comments, and we're going to move forward with some more tests at some point. I still got another toy I want to play with that I didn't get a chance to yet, that Torpedo by Mercury Rise. So I'll be playing around with that shortly here. Anyways, peace out.